What was your first thoughts when you laid eyes on Brett Favre?
I had seen Mark Wilson, Randy Wright, Bud Keys, Mike Norseth, Mike Tomzak, Anthony Dilweg, Don Mikowski, and they were all really good friends of mine. They were all good players. They were in the National Football League. But when I first saw him, there was nothing that he did, said, or that would allow you to think that he was going to turn out to be what he turned out to be.
What do you mean by that?
He was just another guy. If you brought in a quarterback from Atlanta, you gave up whatever you gave up for. Okay. Mike Holmgren's our new coach. We got a new system. We got a bunch of new moving parts. And he is one of the new moving parts. So, not knowing him or his background, he was just another moving part. And, it's just like, and I've been saying this all week. I said, I understand what Michael Jordan felt like being in the triangle. I understand what the late Kobe Bryant felt like being in the triangle. I understand what Steph Curry feels like being in the triangle. The great player doesn't have to change. And the triangle or the West Coast offense in football for us, I didn't have to change. And it fit him perfectly because he had a little stronger arm than Joe Montana. He could fit it in places, but he had the fearlessness of Steve Young, I like to say. And him and that system with his arm really made it work for me.
What did it feel like to catch a ball from Favre?
A lot of people like to think he threw hard, and I didn't. I thought he threw, which allowed me to cheat because I could kind of, once the ball got here, I could kind of turn away and find out where contact was so I can get yards after the catch. But I enjoyed the way Brett threw the football. It looked a little more violent and vicious than it was. He had great rotation. So once it hit your hands, it stuck. Really enjoyed playing with him. I didn't think he threw hard. Some of the other receivers he played with talked about him breaking their fingers. I didn't have that problem. I loved the fact that he threw a firm pass that could allow me to gain yards after the catch.